Yo, what is up guys, it's Ghost here. Welcome back to another video, and we've got some news hot off the press, as it were, from DICE as to just what is going to be contained in the upcoming patch on December the 9th, the Winter Offensive patch. So we don't have the exact patch notes, but what they've done here is released a community update that's going over like the main things there. Some of the fixes, such as audio, game balance changes, stuff like that. So I thought we'd read through this together. We've also got some other tidbits I want to mention, like a fix for the air radar, very long awaited, as well as new challenges and stuff like that in the game. So as always guys, if you enjoy the content here on the channel, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe of course, to stay up to date with everything Battlefield 6. I'll do my best to keep you guys up to date with all the news, bring you guys guides and that sort of stuff. You guys know what to expect, so thank you as always for the support. So without further ado, let's jump into this one. It is called Community Updates, latest updates ahead of Winter Offensive. And they say, hello everyone, welcome to our latest community update for Battlefield 6. With update 1.1.2 settling in, we are taking a moment to share a deeper look at ongoing and upcoming work across the Battlefield studios as we prepare for the Season 1 Winter Offensive update. So first off, we have a bit of a recap of recent adjustments before we dive into the upcoming changes. First of all, escalation on November the 18th, we increased the time required to capture objectives and territory in escalation by roughly 20%. This keeps the mode's high energy pace while giving players more room for tactical decisions, better reactions, and smoother, more strategic matches. Your feedback has been positive about your experience in escalation after the changes, and we will continue monitoring both internal data and community feedback. And I would largely agree. I think escalation has definitely been better after that. Some of the matches before could be over, well, like within 5 minutes it felt like, so definitely a positive addition there. On challenges, they say on November the 19th, alongside the 1.1.2 update, we made several changes and fixes to the challenge system. While this has alleviated several issues with progression and reward tracking, and if you recall, they made a lot of them easier to achieve, we're still seeing reports from players that not all challenges properly unlock their rewards after finishing them. The team is investigating, and we will provide an update as we get more traction on this. I've seen a lot of comments from you guys down below in the comment section about this. By the way, guys, I know I can't reply to everybody, but just know I read all your comments, so keep them coming here on the channel. And then anti-cheat. On November the 28th, our anti-cheat team provided an update on the current state of anti-cheat, how the match infection rate is trending, how we use it to help measure game quality, and what's next for them. I covered that in a separate video, of course. And then Portal, in case you missed it, Downtown, Marina, and the Sandbox maps are now available in Portal through RedSec, and we are excited to see what experiences you will create in these new areas. So these are separate areas of the Battle Royale RedSec map that are now available as their own areas within Portal. So you can create a conquest experience on that, as we've already seen some people do. And that brings us on to the juicy stuff, guys. Winter Offensive. So update 1.1.3, Winter Offensive will be arriving on December the 9th, and the update notes are incoming over the next few days. Below you'll find some of the highlights, so I will be bringing you guys another video, of course, once we have all of the nitty-gritty patch notes to go over. So first off, audio improvements. Oh right, with this update we have made a broad set of audio improvements, including better prioritization of important combat and vehicle sounds, and a comprehensive pass on footsteps to improve clarity, distance definition, and positional awareness across the game. We have also continued to work on performance and memory issues that could cause sounds such as vehicles or footsteps to sometimes not play as intended, which has been particularly noticeable on larger Battle Royale maps. I know they were testing this yesterday on Battlefield Labs. I tested it myself. It's under NDA, unfortunately, so I can't really comment on it. And so in order to be able to do that, I guess I'll have to wait until December the 9th, but we'll see, and you will see how the audio turns out there, guys. So mode adjustments. Across Rush and Breakthrough, we are making major updates focused on improving attacker flow, reducing defender oversaturation, and tightening clarity around objectives. Our goal is to make each push feel more readable, fair, and momentum-based without undermining strong defensive play. In Breakthrough, capture volumes and vehicle availability have been updated across several maps. These changes are guided by your feedback and internal data to help bring win rates closer together for both teams. As one example, Siege of Cairo now features an additional attacker tank in sectors 1 and 3, along with an updated capture area on B to give attackers a clearer foothold. You know what I would really like to see is an attack helicopter back in Breakthrough again. I know it's probably going to be overpowered, and maybe it's just kind of something that would really unbalance the game. But I just miss the good Battlefield days where we played Rush and we played Breakthrough, and there were like attack jets and stuff in there. Maybe that's just the vehicle player in me speaking, but anywho. In Rush, MCOM locations on Manhattan Bridge and Liberation Peak have been adjusted to give attackers more reliable access and to smooth out the flow between sectors. Across both modes, multiple capture zones have been reshaped or clarified so players understand more clearly where to contest or defend. Vehicle spawns have also been rebalanced on several maps to better support attackers where pushes tended to stall and to reduce setups where defenders held overwhelming vehicle advantages. These updates are intended to reduce bottlenecks, remove frustration points, and create more consistent and engaging fights around objectives. Okay, that actually sounds pretty good. So maybe Breakthrough and even Rush are going to be a whole lot more enjoyable now. Beyond these highlights, we have also made a range of quality of life improvements across UI clarity, minimap behavior, controller aiming responsiveness, and more, which you will see detailed in the full notes. Lastly, beyond the Winter Offensive update, we are also looking into recent performance issues reported by some players and are reviewing data to understand where improvements are needed. Okay, moving on from that then, let's look into combat systems here. So in this update, we've also made broad improvements across our combat systems to help deliver more consistent, predictable, and responsive gameplay. HitReg netcode. We are continuing to build on our work to make HitReg feel consistent, reliable, and predictable during every engagement. With this update, we have improved how bullet trajectories are aligned in fast-paced situations, including cases where shots were fired while transitioning into a zoom. These improvements correct inconsistencies that could affect hit registration and the readability of where your shots were landing. We've also made updates to better handle high-density combat scenarios to ensure bullets register more reliably when multiple players are fighting in close proximity. In parallel, we have tightened the clarity of damage feedback so that health UI changes and damage cues feel more immediate and easier to understand during combat. While this is separate from netcode itself, improving how damage is presented plays a key role in making hit registration feel responsive and intuitive. Lastly, we have resolved an issue where clients could briefly display certain pieces of geometry as intact, even though they had already been destroyed on the server. Fixing this eliminates cases where incoming damage could appear to pass through walls. So all of that sounds very good. There's a lot of technical jargon there for the uninitiated, and I definitely count myself among those people. It really comes down to we're going to have to play it and see what it feels, though. I don't think we can really read into this and say, like, oh, they've fixed the problem. Like, we'll just have to wait and see, guys, on December the 9th. But I'm hopeful. I know this was also tested yesterday on labs. Again, can't talk about it, but just to put that out there. Soldier visibility, another hot topic here. Development is also ongoing to further enhance soldier visibility and to make combat readability feel sharp and intuitive across all environments. In this update, we have refined how visibility effects activate at close range so that soldiers stand out more clearly in darker or low contrast areas. We've also updated prone animations to include more subtle movement, improving the ability to spot soldiers using low profile positions. We are already looking ahead at broader improvements to lighting and exposure, especially in indoor versus outdoor transitions, and how characters read against complex environments. This work continues to be a major focus for us, and we are approaching it with the goal of improving clarity without compromising the intended Battlefield visual style. So really excellent to hear that, especially here about like soldiers that are prone. I don't know about you guys, but for me in Battlefield 6, I have a big problem with seeing enemies, so much so that I have turned off anti-aliasing in the game because the jagginess, anti-aliasing kind of smooths out the characters and really the textures and everything in the game and makes them look, well, yes, much more smooth. If you turn it off, the characters kind of get this jaggy texture around them, and if they're moving, they kind of pop out a little bit. And that's the only reason I've been using it, not because it looks better, it certainly doesn't. It's just for readability, so I can see people running around. But if somebody is prone on the ground, in Battlefield 6, they just kind of look like a dead body. Like, I literally, maybe I'm showing my age here, chime in down below and let me know if you experience this as well, but they literally just look like a dead corpse on the ground, and I get shot by people who are just lying on their back on the ground all the time, so I can't tell you how happy I am to hear that. Okay, on to the weapon adjustments then. Weapon feel and reliability are always top priorities for the team. This update includes wide-ranging improvements to weapon handling, including fixes to first shot accuracy, attachment behavior, and tuning across various recoil patterns and weapon categories. These changes aim to deliver more predictable and consistent weapon performance in active combat. We will continue to refine weapon behavior based on live data and player feedback, with additional adjustments already in development for future updates. So pretty vague there what they're talking about. They haven't said, hey, we've like reduced recoil or we've like reduced dispersion or whatever. Again, kind of I'm going to have to cop out here, guys, and just sort of say, we'll see what it plays like on December the 9th. I think a lot of this patch is going to be like that. And then we have ongoing work and future improvements. So we are actively exploring several areas aimed at improving clarity, responsiveness, and fairness in combat. This includes further work on edge cases related to hit reg, investigating rare desync scenarios with destructible objects, and gathering deeper data on situations where players feel they were eliminated after reaching cover. These areas remain key priorities, and the findings from our ongoing investigations will inform updates planned for the new year. On the weapons front, we will continue monitoring the effects of the dispersion changes introduced in California Resistance, which is the patch we're playing right now. The early trends show a healthy distribution of weapon usage across categories, and we will keep tracking performance to identify outliers as the meta evolves. So it sounds like they're kind of happy with where weapon dispersion is at the moment. They're going to keep an eye on it. I would say that dispersion is still very, very low for the SMGs. They can still beam people. In fact, recently I did a video on the MP5. I forget I think it's like the PW5 or something like that. It's got a weird in-game name, but it's the MP5. And it can literally beam people across the map. So I still think they've got quite a long ways to go there in terms of dispersion. I would have thought, weapons like SMGs with shorter barrels would have more dispersion. But anyway, armor in RedSec. We have seen discussions in the community about how armor works in RedSec, how it interacts with weapon damage, and where behavior may differ from what players expect. We have sat down with the team to review the system in detail and have a dedicated blog on this topic rolling out in the first week of December. And then tank availability, we've seen your discussions around tanks feeling too strong in some cases, and we are making a first pass on this. We are lowering the frequency of tank missions availability as a first change to the system, and we'll keep an eye on internal data and how you engage around the change, combined with your feedback for additional changes with an upcoming update. I'm going to be totally transparent with you guys. I don't really play RedSec at all, so I am just not going to comment on this. Cool, I guess, maybe? Let me know if you play RedSec. Anywho, community highlights. Portal experiences you should try. Okay, this should be interesting. Let's see, because I just put a video out about yesterday about how DICE is completely dropping the ball, in my opinion, with Portal and not highlighting enough community experiences. But here they are. So our team continues to be amazed by the incredibly talented, creative, wonderful, funny, and entertaining experiences our players put together in Portal. We will highlight more cool experiences going forward, and thought that the two below would be a good start to check out player-created Portal experiences if you haven't done that so far. So we've got snipers versus runners. As a sniper, don't let the runners reach the end of the obstacle course, and as a runner, don't lose your head. Okay, and then we've got King of the Ring. Players race around a ring and try to reach the end without falling off or being blown up by the rocket launcher wielding player in the middle of the ring. Will you make it to the finish line or get blown to pieces? So it's kind of cool that they're featuring people's creations, and of course if you guys want to check these out, you can use the codes that you see on screen at the moment. But what I would like to see is them actually make a playlist with verified experiences that people have made, and DICE have then come in and vetted them and verified them themselves, and then give them full experience, right? So people will, that's the only way people are going to find these experiences. If you go and host this server right now, I can almost guarantee you nobody's going to join your game. And I'm not saying it's because it's you. Nobody's going to join my game either, but that's just sort of the way that the server browser works at the moment in Portal. And so I think they've lent so heavily into the matchmaker. The only way people are going to play these experiences is if they put them in a playlist there. Then we have the Battlefield RedSec Elite Series. In case you missed it, we are launching the Battlefield RedSec Elite Series. You can become part of those adrenaline-filled moments when your squad pushes their limits and gets the W. Thank you for your ongoing support, feedback, and PTFOing. We'll see you on the battlefield. So, of course, here they're referring to the upcoming competition that's happening in a few days with a bunch of content creators, not me, but a lot of others. And I think there's also going to be like an open competition as well, where anybody can grind their way up there through a bracket system of some sort. Now, one of the biggest fixes, in my opinion, that like Battlefield 6 really needs is the bloody air radar for the jets, man. Like, there's no air radar in the game. And I kind of piggybacked off of a tweet or a post from Heeb here, and he says, day 51 without working jet air radar in Battlefield 6. Put a bit of a meme on there and said, you know, this not being fixed or even addressed by a dev yet was not on my bingo card. They need to prioritize this. And luckily, Eddie chimed in here. Got to excuse my voice, by the way, guys. I'm kind of sick today. And he says, it is known and will be fixed. There are some concerns over performance as the minimap works differently here, which needs extra time and attention. Either way, this shouldn't have been something players have to deal with for so long. No arguments. So, always appreciate the comments from Eddie, man. I don't think he's actually working on the vehicles in Battlefield 6, although he did work on all the vehicles in Battlefield 2042, but I know he has a direct line to the people who are working on them. Like, he's working for DICE, right? He's on the inside, so he knows what's going on there. And I really appreciate the fact that he both says it's known, it's being worked on, and it will be fixed, but he also kind of admits here and says, you know, this shouldn't have been something players have to deal with for so long. No arguments. Like, it's nice to kind of see people take a bit of responsibility, and Eddie's always a straight shooter, so shout out to him for that. Alright, last bits of information before I let you go today, guys. There is a free skin in the game. This was posted by Battlefield Bulletin. It's for the P18, so I should call it a weapon package, I suppose. You can claim this for free from the store, so just wanted to let you know about that if you haven't done it already. And then it probably won't have escaped you that yesterday, with the weekly reset and all of the new weekly challenges coming in, we got a new assortment of challenges called Red Bull challenges. So this is obviously like some sort of crossover between Red Bull and the Battlefield, and these are like the main challenges that you've got to do here. Not gonna lie, I'm not like particularly excited to accomplish these, but the good news is most of the ones that have to be done in Battle Royale, and I think like roughly half of them, I'm not going to read them all, you can read them for yourselves here, but around half of them have to be done in the Battle Royale. You can see here, total golf cart airtime in Battle Royale, 5 seconds. So that's actually relatively easy, right? You just launch a golf cart into the air and accrue 5 seconds and you get that one. All the ones that basically make you play Battle Royale or Gauntlet, I've noticed that the rewards for them are just XP boosters. So I think DICE have kind of cottoned on to the fact that most people don't want to play those modes, and so you don't have to if you don't want to, right? Because it's just an XP booster. At the end of the day, all of the ones that give here the Flying High Weapon Charm, something that you may not want to miss out on, those are generally just like generic challenges like spot enemies with the recon drone 200 times. Again, not the most exciting experience that you can have playing Battlefield flying around a recon drone, but nevertheless pretty easy to accomplish. So I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. I'm going to let you go now. I do want to apologize for my voice. It's been a bit raspy today. I've come down with the man flu, the dreaded man flu, so apologies for that. As always, leave me your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think about these changes. Are these enough for you? What changes are you looking for in Battlefield 6 at the moment? What do you think are the most important for the teams to prioritize? Leave a like down below, guys, if you enjoyed the video or you found it informative. Subscribe to stay up to date with Battlefield 6, of course, and I will see you all in the next one.